Hi, my name is Matt, and my wife Cheryl is behind the camera here. We are in beautiful and romantic Rothenburg, Germany. This is known for being the best medieval preserved town in Germany, or maybe even all of Europe. So in this video, we're going to show you things to do if you visit Rothenburg. So the first thing to do is right here is to visit the town square. So behind me here is the big town hall, and just all around, people are milling around. This is really cool. I mean, it was way more than what I expected when I walked through the street and I saw this great big town square. You can see some really big buildings off to the side here. It actually kind of was quite a surprise, kind of took my breath away. It's just cool being in the town square, and we cannot wait to go explore the other things to do here in Rothenburg. Okay, so the next thing is to get to the edge of the town with this beautiful overlook. You can see another section of town there across the little valley. So of course, this is a medieval town, and it actually had a castle at one point. I think there's the remains of a castle in the middle of town right now, but Rothenburg is Red Castle, and Ob der Tauber means on the Tauber River. So the river comes right by here. So this town was built up on a hill, and so you want to get out here to where you can see the valley and the city behind you for some great views.
Next is to visit the castle gardens. This city is surrounded by a wall, like a lot of medieval cities were, and you can walk along the perimeter of the wall and just overlook the city and the surrounding area, and it's really beautiful. This garden's pretty big. It's called Castle Gardens. It has lots of flowers, so it smells amazing. And then something kind of special here is there's a memorial for some Jews that were killed here. About 450 Jews were killed, and there's a nice memorial just honoring them. The last thing to do is you can check out the castle down the way.
Okay, the next thing to do is to get something to eat, of course. So I have a schnitzel sandwich, but the popular thing to eat here is a Schneeball, which is like a little pastry that, I don't know, like a little cute pastry or something like that. And so I haven't found a place with a Schneeball yet, but that is our next thing to do, is to go get a Schneeball.
It's 6 o'clock and some of the restaurants have already closed.
Yes, so eat dinner at dinner time.
Next is to get a Schneeball in Rothenburg. In this store, they have tons of views. These are the original treats. Okay, so down here is the snowball, which is originally their thing, but then they've expanded to a lot of different flavors with nuts and chocolate and all sorts of things. And so we asked the girl in the shop what her favorite flavor is, and this is it. It has some nuts in it. It's kind of chocolatey. Now, Rick Steves says that these look amazing and don't taste as great as they look, but we're gonna try it and see if he's right.
So.
Yeah, it does look better than it tastes. Just saying.
Okay.
We've done something completely crazy. We have taken our extended family to Europe with us, so there's 20 of us. So we're gonna see if anyone else has a different opinion than me.
It's good. I like it. I tried Aunt Cheryl's and I think hers is pretty good. In my opinion, I really like hers. Tastes a lot like chocolate.
So in my opinion, I think it would taste better if they didn't cook it. What do you think?
I thought it was dry.
Okay, the next thing to do is to get your picture taken in this little intersection here in town with this famous yellow building behind me. Honestly, I've seen this building so much on Instagram and YouTube that it's actually kind of hard for me to believe that I'm actually here at the building. And let me tell you, it's okay. Like the Schneeball, right? It's so-so. So this is kind of a little lesson on planning your vacations and your trips and all that Instagram is way overrated. I mean, people can make these shots look amazing, and they're just like one snippet. This isn't even the highlight of Rothenburg. From everything you see online, you would think this is the whole thing. But, you know, the castle's much better, the castle wall, the viewpoint, the castle park was incredible. And so, anyway, you know, you want to come and check it out while you're here, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. It's so-so.
Rothenburg is really famous for the shopping, and it is so fun to look in the shop's windows and see what they have. We've got some steins and some Christmas villages over here. People really like to shop for Christmas things in Rothenburg. There are plenty of toy shops, bakeries, clothing. It is just a really fun place just to people watch. And
I saw some medieval store.
Medieval. Our son wants a medieval weapon.
Yeah.
And just cute little Drindle stores. So many things to just look for.
Okay, Okay, the next thing is to watch the Glockenspiel here. Every hour on the hour the clock goes off, and they have two guys out here come and reenact a famous town story of when the mayor drank an entire barrel of beer to save the town from a foreign invader. Okay, so the next thing to do is the night Watchman tour. This is done every night at 8 o'clock by that guy back there. Maybe he just left. I'd kind of heard quite a bit about this, and so I was kind of curious how it would be, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really entertaining. The guy was so good. He was so fun to listen to. He walks you around the city and tells you a little bit about it.
Yeah, and you don't reserve tickets. You just meet him in the town square. You pay him after. It's about €9 per person. It's about a mile walk. And you learn stories about dunking the baker and the bubonic plague and how there really is no good old days. It was very interesting.
He talks about how the lowest people on the rung of society were who?
The executioner.
The executioner and the gravedigger. Those two hang out together a lot because they have the same clientele. And he was just really funny. I don't want to ruin the stories for you, but come to Rothenburg, definitely do the night Watchman tour. Okay, the next thing to do is to visit the Christmas market, a little Christmas shop here. It is full of ornaments and cuckoo clocks and little advent calendars and just a ton of stuff here. Now, my understanding is this is really popular during Christmas time, of course. I believe December is when Rothenburg gets the most visitors of the year, people coming for this whole Christmas thing. But if you're here in summer like we are, it's still kind of cool to go in there and you can buy yourself a little ornament to remember your vacation and hang it on your tree come Christmas time.
All right, it is 9:30 and the city's about to close down. We get great sunlight here in Rothenburg in the morning and in the night in the summertime, so it's pretty nice. But how we're wrapping up our day is we are on the wall of Rothenburg. It surrounds the entire city, and there's a pathway that walks around, and I'm not sure how far it goes. We walked pretty far, and it's so fun to see the rooftops of the city and the landscape. There's gardens to look at, the village. It's just really quite breathtaking and peaceful. And after the Watchman tour, people start clearing out and you get a really quiet city. I liked Rothenburg because I feel like it had just the right amount of crowds, like not so little that it felt like a ghost town, but not so many that it was stressful. It has just been a nice, peaceful day here, but especially at night, it's really we've got the place to ourselves now, just walking around the perimeter of the wall, and it is pretty darn neat.
Okay, the next thing, I've got kind of a combo here for you. Okay, so the next major thing to do is to visit St. Jacob's Church. Now, as the night watchman told us last night, this is more like a cathedral. This is a really big church, and it was big because this city was kind of an important city back in the day. And so this is amazing, but this is also a pilgrimage site. So inside is the altar of the Holy Blood. They say there's a drop of Jesus's blood in there. But the real star of the show in there is this amazing wood carving by what I've heard described as the Michelangelo of wood carving. Some wood carver in Germany years and years ago carved this just amazing depiction of the Last Supper. You have to go inside and see it. It does cost a couple of euros to go see it, but you've got to go see it. It was really, really amazing. And my bonus tip here is to check out the free walking tour of Rothenburg by Rick Steves. So he has a map and an audio tour that you can listen to as you walk around the city. That was invaluable. We did that yesterday and it was just amazing. And they tell you all about the church and about the wood carving and then just the history of the town. It's really a great thing to do. So make sure to do those two things, the church and the walking tour. Okay, the next thing is to walk through one of these cool entrances to the city. So the night watchman told us there were 6 different archways that enter the city that you can go through. The main one is located right from kind of the newer modern city. You walk through that one and go into the city, but there are other ones that you can go explore if you just kind of get out and walk around a little bit. So we walked around the outside wall and got to this area here. And then there's a walking path that goes around the city, the outside of the city. So you can spend some time just outside of the castle walls as well, and even get down to the river if you go far enough. Okay, the next thing to do here is to visit the Museum of Crime and Punishment. Behind me you can see a device here. This is what they used to put bakers in if they measured the dough wrong. It was actually quite regulated how much a loaf of bread should be, and so if they were too much or too little, they'd put the bakers in here and dunk them in water until they could barely stand it. And they would do that for every time they got a loaf of bread wrong, which is kind of crazy. But if you go through the museum, you'll see just, wow, kind of some crazy torture devices that they used to use, like a spiked chair, a device that would grind up people. They used to hang people up in the air and then they'd put weights on their legs and just stretch their body out. Oh, it was crazy how they had one that was a mask, a shame mask they'd put on them, and it had a long nose, and every time they'd breathe it would whistle. And oh my gosh, one of them they would put, if two women were arguing, they would put them both in a joint, kind of a lock, and they would be forced to be around each other until they learned to get along. So wow, this is kind of a crazy deal. So I've heard some people say maybe this isn't worth it. I thought it was pretty fun and enjoyable. That was kind of crazy seeing all the torture devices that they used. The next thing to do is to watch out for cars as you walk around the town. I'm a little surprised that they let cars drive through here on these little narrow cobblestone streets, but they do drive around the city, so you kind of got to watch out. All right, we have spent yesterday and then some of this morning here in Rothenburg exploring just about every part that we could. So what did you think?
Okay, I think Rothenburg is a must. It is the biggest medieval city we've been to and the oldest. And there really is quite a bit to see here, and we really enjoyed it. In fact, our teen even said that he liked the atmosphere of it, so that's saying something. But my favorites were the night Watchman tour, the castle gardens, and window shopping.
And my favorite was visiting St. Jacob's Church and seeing that immaculate wood carving and doing the night Watchman's tour. That's a total must-do. And so I think both of us are in agreement. We would totally recommend Rothenburg if you're visiting. I mean, it's a little touristy, but I didn't feel like it was too touristy.
No.
There's some people here milling around, but we think this is a must-do. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.